All right, so you sent in a ton of stuff about Coco Gauff winning the WTA finals in Riyadh.
Yeah.
Articles, social media posts, the whole works.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
We're ready to deep dive into it all.
What I find so interesting is that, the WTA finals, it's basically like the grand finale
Oh, yeah.
of the whole women's tennis season. The top 8 players
Oh, wow.
for this epic showdown.
And for Coco to win it at 20 years old.
It's pretty amazing.
That's insane.
Yeah.
She started playing professionally when she was, what, like 15?
15, yeah.
And now she's already, like, making history.
I know. She joins Iga Swiatek as the only active player under 30 who holds at least one title from every level on the WTA Tour.
Oh.
So that's 250s, 500s, 1000s, a Grand Slam, and now this, the finals trophy.
Wow.
It's the full set.
That's a great way to put it, the full set.
Yeah.
And she did this after people were calling it, like, her slump summer.
I know.
I was reading the Champions Corner article from WTA Insider.
Uh-huh.
And she even mentioned that she saw a headline that said, Gauff's slump summer. And it, like, motivated her
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
to turn things around.
It really is. That ability to channel criticism and then use it as fuel, it's so powerful.
Especially for someone so young.
Especially for someone who's
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
It speaks to her mental toughness,
Yeah.
which I think is a key ingredient to her success.
What I think is really interesting is that she doesn't just ignore the negativity.
Yeah.
She, like, processes it.
Yeah.
I was reading that she journals, does therapy, and talks to her dad, who she describes as pretty petty, like her.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's kind of funny.
I love that.
It makes her seem like so much more relatable, right?
Yeah, it reminds us that even elite athletes are human.
Totally.
They have their own ways of coping with all this pressure.
Yeah.
And clearly hers works.
Yeah. Do you remember that tweet she posted after winning the U.S. Open?
Yeah.
She, like, thanked her haters and predicted that she'd beat Swiatek in the group stages,
Yes.
which she did.
In straight sets.
Yeah. Like, what?
She's incredible.
It's like she turns negativity into strength.
Right.
But we have to talk about Zheng Qinwen, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Reaching the finals in her first WTA finals appearance is a huge deal.
Huge, huge, huge.
And she really pushed Coco in that final match.
Oh, yeah.
It lasted over 3 hours.
Yeah. It was the second longest final this year,
Wow.
and her record since Wimbledon is just incredible.
That is it.
31-6.
Wow.
An Olympic gold medal,
Yeah.
and she finished the year ranked number 5.
That's her career high, too.
Her career high.
She had a breakout year.
Unbelievable breakout year.
It seems like she's really a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I mean, she's only 22,
Wow.
and she's already doing all of this.
What do you think the next, like, few years look like for her?
Oh, I think she could become a really dominant player.
You think so?
I do, yeah.
Wow.
Honestly, I think both her performance and then obviously Coco's win, it's like an exciting shift
Oh, how so?
in women's tennis.
Oh, interesting.
It's like we're seeing this new generation
Yeah.
of players just coming up.
Okay, before we get into some of the, like, more stats and stuff,
Mhm.
can you just explain quickly what the open era in tennis is?
Oh, yeah. So the Open era started in 1968, and it's basically when professional tennis players were finally allowed to play with the amateurs
Oh, okay.
in the big tournaments, the Grand Slams.
Okay, so that's when everything changed
Totally changed.
and became how it is now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so back to the tournament. There were just so many notable, like, achievements and stats.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that Coco is the first woman in the open era to win her first 8 hardcourt singles finals?
That is just, it's incredible. Really highlights her dominance on hard courts.
Wow.
And it's worth noting that she's the youngest WTA finals winner since Maria Sharapova
Oh, wow.
in 2004, and the youngest American to win since Serena Williams in 2001.
Those are, like, really big names.
Big names.
To be compared to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and speaking of stats, Zheng Qinwen led the tour in aces this year.
Yeah,
A whopping 445.
I know. It's pretty wild.
It's clear that both of these players, I mean, they just bring so much power and skill.
I mean, they're so talented.
It's insane.
Yeah. Their achievements are just a testament to how hard they work.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really exciting to see how they continue to shape the future of, like, women's tennis.
And it's not just happening on the court either.
True.
Online, it's like The whole tennis world is buzzing.
Oh, yeah?
Legends like Billie Jean King, Chris Evert, Pam Shriver,
Mm-hmm.
they all went to social media to congratulate Coco.
Yeah, and it speaks to her impact.
Oh, yeah.
She's already having such a big impact.
Yeah.
Getting recognition from, like, the people who paved the way, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Even Ellen Perez, another player on tour, she had a really funny tweet
What did she say?
about how cool Coco is.
It's amazing how, like, social media has become such a part of all this,
Yeah, it's really cool.
It lets fans and players connect.
In a way that, like, we've never seen before.
Mm.
Yeah, it makes it so dynamic and engaging.
Totally.
Everyone can, like, share the excitement.
Okay, so speaking of excitement, we have to talk about something a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
Did you know that Coco's a huge Tyler, the Creator fan?
Yes, I did know that. She was so excited to go to his music festival.
Camp Flognaw.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see athletes that we, like, idolize have their own fandoms.
It's true.
It makes them seem so much more human.
I know.
And get this, Tyler, the Creator, actually mentions Coco by name in one of his songs.
Oh, that's so cool.
Like, full circle.
I know.
But, while we're on this bigger picture kind of thing,
Yeah.
we have to talk about the money.
Oh, yeah.
The financial side of pro tennis, especially for women.
Absolutely.
Coco's $4.8 million prize check.
Yeah. It's not just a number, it's a statement.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's the biggest payout
Wow.
for a single tournament in women's tennis history.
It raises all these questions
It does.
about, like, the role of money,
Yeah.
location,
Mm-hmm.
politics in the sport.
Absolutely.
But, before we jump into that, how about we take a moment to gather our thoughts, because this deep dive is about to get even deeper.
I agree. I have a feeling it is. It is a big step forward.
It is, right.
Yeah.
Like, it really shows that people are taking women's tennis more seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Having the WTA finals in Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
it sparked a lot of debate.
A lot of debate.
What are some of the arguments you've seen?
Well, there's a few. Some people say that having an event like this over there could actually help women's rights in the region. But then others think it's, more about sports washing,
Yeah.
where governments use like these big events
Right?
to cover up other issues.
It's a really complex issue.
It is.
And there are, like, really strong opinions on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
As much as the prize money is great,
Yeah,
especially for someone like Coco, who just won,
of course.
it also raises all these questions about pay equity in
Mhm.
tennis as a whole.
Absolutely. The gap between what men and women make.
Yeah.
It's still huge.
And I imagine there are different opinions about, like, why that gap exists in the first place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some people say that men's tennis just brings in more money,
Uh-huh.
bigger audiences, more sponsors, so they think the higher pay is justified. But then other people argue that, like, that logic
Yeah.
just makes the problem worse.
Yeah.
Like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It just, like, keeps the gap going instead of figuring out, like, why it's there in the first place.
It's a chicken or the egg kind of thing, right?
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
which came first? The money or, like, the idea that men's tennis is more valuable.
Right.
I mean, there's so much history there.
Yeah.
And the media covers men's and women's sports totally differently. Totally.
And then there's, like, what society expects from athletes.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, before we get, like, too lost in the weeds here,
Uh-huh.
what does this all mean for women's tennis going forward? Like,
Mm.
where are we headed?
I think we're in, like, a really exciting moment.
Oh, yeah.
I think people are, like, finally starting to recognize how amazing these female athletes are.
Oh, for sure.
Your talent, the athleticism,
Absolutely.
and, players like Coco and Iga Swiatek,
Yeah.
they're getting so much attention.
They're captivating to watch, for sure.
And that attention means more sponsors,
Right.
bigger audiences,
Yeah.
and hopefully, like, way more prize money.
Yeah. I'm really feeling that energy, too, like a good energy.
Yes, good energy. I think we're already seeing some of those changes, which is really cool.
That's really encouraging. So, yeah, there are definitely some, like, challenges,
Yeah.
but it also sounds like, there's real momentum.
Yeah, I think so. Towards, like, greater equality and pay recognition opportunity for these women.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
And I think it's important to, like, acknowledge that.
Totally.
Celebrate the progress, even if we still want more change, right?
I think that's, like, a really good perspective to have.
Yeah.
Like, we're in this exciting, evolving moment for women's tennis,
Yeah.
and we just have to keep, like, having these conversations.
Keep talking about it.
Celebrate the wins and push for a better future to the players.
Exactly. But, this whole conversation about the finals in Riyadh,
Yeah.
it makes me think about the role of sports in society as a whole.
Oh, interesting. In what way?
I mean, they're never just about, the competition.
You're right.
Right. It's like they become this little world
Yeah.
reflecting all these bigger things.
Like what?
Like politics, money, values.
Oh, that's so true.
Right. Think about the Olympics, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be about global unity.
Right.
Right. And everyone coming together.
Yeah.
But it always gets caught up in, politics. It's unavoidable.
Yeah.
And in the case of the WTA finals being in Saudi Arabia, we have to think about women's rights.
Right.
Cultural differences.
Yeah.
What responsibilities do these, global organizations have to actually help make things better?
Right.
There's a lot to unpack there.
There is a lot to unpack. And there's, no easy answers.
No.
Right.
Nope.
Different people are going to have different opinions about if the WTA did the right thing.
Right.
And it's important to consider all of them.
Yeah, it is. But what I find so interesting is that it's actually making people talk.
That's true.
It's making people think about the role of sports
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
And how they can be used to, influence things for good or for bad.
Yeah.
It's like sports can be this platform.
Totally.
Not just for entertainment.
Yeah.
But for, social commentary.
Absolutely.
Even activism. Yes. And the athletes themselves.
Yeah.
They can really shape that conversation.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier how Coco Gauff, she speaks out about these social justice issues.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the kind of leadership
Yes.
that can lead to change.
Absolutely.
Not just in sports, but in the world.
I love that. It gives me so much hope for the future.
Me too.
Not just for tennis.
Yeah.
But, for how sports can help make the world a better, more equal place.
I agree. Okay, so speaking of the future, I think we should, come back to that question I asked earlier.
Okay.
Coco Gauff, she's young.
Yeah.
She's crazy talented.
Yes.
She's so determined.
Yeah.
Could she be on her way to being, one of the all-time greats?
That is the question, isn't it? What do you think?
I mean, it's impossible to, know for sure.
Right.
But she has all the tools, right?
She does. The talent.
Yeah.
The work ethic.
Yeah.
The mental game.
Uh-huh.
And also, she, connects with fans.
Yeah, totally.
And inspires this whole new generation of players.
It's true. She's captivating.
Yeah. So we don't know what's going to happen, but it'll be fun to watch.
I'm excited to see where her journey takes her.
Me too.
And maybe she will even, surpass those big names that we talked about.
It could happen. But, honestly, I'm even more excited about, women's tennis as a whole.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's this, wave of young talent.
That's true.
They're changing the game. It's
Yeah.
awesome to see.
It feels like a whole new era is starting.
I think you're right.
And it's happening right now.
Exactly. And for you listening, I encourage you to, keep exploring, read those articles you shared, follow these players online, see what happens next.
I second that.
Yeah.
There's so much to be inspired by. But I think for now, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah, I think we have.
From Coco Gauff's win to, the complexities of the WTA finals in Saudi Arabia.
All right.
We've talked about the wins, the losses, and the, bigger conversations around women's tennis today.
Absolutely.
And I think the main takeaway here is that it's not just about the scores or the trophies or even the money.
It's about the impact,
Yeah.
the inspiration,
Yeah.
the power that these athletes have to create change.
Totally.
Both in the sport
Yeah.
and in the world.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive for today.
But, the conversation doesn't have to end here.
Oh.
We'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah.
What stuck with you the most?
What questions are you still thinking about?
Exactly.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions.
Yes.
And keep diving deep into the things that you're curious about.
We'll see you on our next deep dive. It's crazy, right? One tennis tournament, we're talking about all this stuff. From Coco's win to, equal pay.
Yeah.
And now, the role of sports globally.
Yeah. It's like sports can be this lens.
Oh, yeah.
Where you see all these different parts of society, cultural values, the economy, politics.
It makes me think about how we see athletes as, these huge figures.
Uh-huh.
But they're also like real people
Yeah.
dealing with these huge systems
Yeah.
and using like their platform to talk about what's important to them.
Yeah. It's really cool to see, especially from like younger athletes like Coco.
It's inspiring.
It's so inspiring. It's like a reminder that they can really make a difference.
Totally.
Like their voices can reach so many people
Yeah.
and start these conversations that might not have happened otherwise.
And even the hard conversations are important,
right?
right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like whether it's about the pay gap, human rights,
Mhm.
or just like using sports to make a positive impact.
Right.
It feels like, I don't know, maybe things are finally starting to change.
I think so too. It's really exciting to see.
And you listening, it's like being a fan of a sport is more than just cheering.
It is.
You know?
It's about being part of these bigger conversations, asking questions, and seeing how sports can like actually shape the world.
It makes following these athletes so much more meaningful.
It really does.
It's not just about the games, you know?
Yeah.
It's about like what they stand for.
Exactly.
What impact they have.
On and off the court. So I think we can agree. Women's tennis. It's about way more than just playing tennis.
I love that.
Mm.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
women's tennis, it's a reflection of society.
It is.
It's a platform for like important discussions.
Yes.
And it's inspiring to see these athletes who like dream big
Dream big.
and challenge what's normal.
Beautifully said.
Ah, thanks. And for anyone listening who wants to like learn more,
Yeah.
check out those articles we talked about.
Yeah.
Follow these amazing athletes on social media.
And keep exploring the world of women's tennis. You never know what you'll find.
That's so true. Until next time.
Keep learning. Keep
Right.
asking questions.
Yes.
Keep diving deep.
We'll see you on our next deep dive.